What's going on, jumpers? This jump rope skill tutorial is going to cover the MIC triple under skill, or the vertical release triple under. I'm gonna give you all the main tips, things to avoid, and a progression to actually learn this skill. If you are a jumper that wants to be efficient, if you wanna continually level up your skills over time, then this is the tutorial for you. All right, let's get into it. So before doing this skill, you definitely want to be able to do a strict triple under, open, 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 3 rotations in 1 jump, and also a very clean MIC or vertical release. Now this skill works with either a rope throw or a wrist pop mechanic to actually release the MIC. And if you want any more detail on that, I have a different jump rope tutorial on the MIC release where I go into extreme detail about how to do a MIC release properly. All right, so the first main tip here is that, just like we discussed in the MIC release tutorial, this is a 3-step skill. So it's a swing, a release, and a catch, and we're gonna do all of that in 1 jump. You really wanna make sure that you're keeping your shoulders squared off and facing forwards as much as possible during this skill. And we wanna lift off the ground right when the rope is striking the ground next to our feet. So as the rope comes down and hits the ground, we're popping right up into the air as soon as possible so we can actually get that first swing in the air. We also want to really make sure that we're keeping our chest up the whole time. Keep that chest nice and elevated and facing forward. Now, for the most efficient version of executing this skill, you want to keep your feet together and bounding together as we do that jump for the triple under MIC. And the last main tip is to watch the rope handle as you're turning the MIC. You can actually spot it and look at what's going on. That way, it really helps you get a gauge for not only where the rope is, but it's a lot easier to catch that way. All right, things to avoid. We don't want to spin the MIC too aggressively. We don't want to release extremely hard and have too much energy going into that, because that can really throw off the equilibrium of how this rope is supposed to move during the MIC release. So you really want to avoid splitting your legs too much. It's very easy for the legs to split during this skill, but you want to keep them as close together as possible, unless you're actually trying to go for that kind of aesthetic. If that's the style you're after, then split the legs even more. You also really want to make sure that you're not turning your chest towards the MIC in the air. You can do that if you want, again, if that's part of the style that you're after. Now, the last main thing that we want to avoid is doing the first swing of this skill while we are still on the ground. It's very common as we're learning to do that first swing, do everything with our hand placement, and then lift during the release and the catch. We really want to get up off the ground right as we're starting to swing the rope next to our body. All right, so let's talk about how to actually learn this skill. The number one thing is you really should be starting with a very clean MIC. You want to make sure the MIC that you're doing now, whether that's a wrist pop or a rope throw mechanic, either way, you want to make sure you can do it very cleanly, you can do it very consistently. Now from there, the best way to begin practicing is to do a MIC both fast and slow. You want to be able to go back and forth between how fast you're turning this rope with a lot of control. That way you really can demonstrate that you know what's going on with the rope during the release, and you're able to control it, especially when we get up into the air during the triple under, because it's a little bit different when we actually get elevated for this full skill. So step number 1 is to do the MIC release fast and slow. Now the next step of this progression is to actually kind of do the skill a little bit incorrectly. We're going to do the first swing on the ground, right? We said not to do that earlier, but we're going to do it on the ground on purpose, and then we're going to lift off of the ground for the release and the catch, making it a double under. So the swing is rotation number 1. We're gonna do that on the ground as a single under, then we'll lift off the ground for a release and a catch to make that a double under. Now from here, the next step of this progression is to actually turn that swing into a double under. So we're gonna do an open swing double under. So we'll lift off the ground, we'll do 1 rotation underneath our feet, and then go into a swing after that. As we transition into the swing, it's important to put our hands in the correct placement for the MIC, whether that's a rope throw or a wrist pop, either way. And then from there, we'll hit the ground and we'll lift back up for a release and catch double under after that. So 2 doubles, back to back, open swing, and then release and catch on the second double under. So the last step of this progression is to actually do a standard open, open double under, followed by the full triple under MIC. We're doing it this way so that we can set ourselves up in the best way possible to execute the triple under MIC in the most correct way we can. So do that, make sure your double under is nice and slow so you can really have all the control that you need. And then there you go, that's the full progression to get that triple under MIC skill. All right, if this was helpful for you, send it off to a friend that you think might also enjoy it. If you have any questions at all, leave a comment down below or hit me up on Instagram at Nate_KG. All right, guys, I will see you in the next jump rope skill tutorial.